Hi guys, thanks for tuning this episode of Nick Egan Times. On this episode, we have a sensational guest. We have Chyld. Chyld is a US multi-talented indie pop and electronic music producer and songwriter. Chyld's music is original, authentic, and complex. Everything Chyld touches is a unique experience. Chyld has just released his new single "Head Underwater" featuring Young Sum. Welcome the multi-talented Chyld, and thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Tell me, how's it all been going over there?
It's been going. Yeah, I'm just happy to finally have the new music out there and to kind of just be doing the next thing, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And how has the pandemic that hit affected you personally and professionally?
Yeah, I mean, I think that time was difficult. Just because of other stuff and that was going on in my life too. But so I think I felt like a switch in like work ethic and like and energy. But I just kept on doing my thing. I don't know. Like I think not playing live shows was hard. But then once I was able to do that again for the first time, like last year, then it just kind of came naturally again. So I don't know. It was definitely interesting though, to say the
Yeah,
least.
could
Yeah,
imagine. And thanks for sharing the insights. All right, let's jump straight into it. Take us back. Tell me about your life story and yeah, how it's all began for you.
sure. Yeah, and I've been around music my whole life. I kind of always took lessons when I was growing up. Piano and drums was my first instrument. But in high school, I kind of started not only like singing in front of people, but kind of dabbling in production using I think Logic Pro was my first like real software. But then ever since then I just kind of messed around with it and just starting with like a really like dubby like dubstep electronic music. But that kind of evolved, I guess, over time. And that is pretty much, college wasn't really for me. I didn't really do the whole well, I did it for a semester, but that was pretty much it. And other than that, I've just wanted to make music my full time. So I think that's how I ended up kind of where I'm at today, pretty
Right,
much.
right. That's great. Insights into your life. Tell me about the new music. And tell me about the song "Cherry Tree" and "Being Patient" and "Head Underwater." Tell me about those songs.
Sure. So Be Patient is actually a song that I've had for a very, very long time. I wrote that song in 2017. Um, Not like there's a lot of lyrics, but I just, made the initial idea, and it kind of evolved in different forms over the years, kind of, but it was mostly the same. Um, but I don't know, I was just like never like happy with like the way it is or was, and just was waiting for the right time to release that. But then when I made when I started Head Underwater, um that that was maybe a year ago. um and then after that, kind of Cherry Tree, that idea was kind of formed. And after a certain point, I kind of had like a few songs together, and I was like, okay, these kind of go together in a similar kind of uh, weird way. But I think it's definitely like the vibe that I've always wanted to make for my music, which is just kind of like the easygoing, um, kind of just very fun poppy kind of vibe, if that kind of makes sense.
No, definitely, definitely. And I've
Yeah.
listened to them, and they definitely got that vibe, and yeah, it's exceptional in music. I think it's incredible.
Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. And what is your process of songwriting too? Like, yeah, what is that process like for you?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, with Be Patient, I think that was kind of a simple like hook idea. I like writing hooks for sure. Just I like finding like catchy things, but I think it always depends on the song. So I mean, with Cherry Tree, yeah, especially I remember making that beat first because sometimes it's always different depending on what comes first. But that was the beat. So I started off with like the boom, boom. Well, actually, what I wanted to do was make a almost like a sequel track to Antidote. So I wanted to go for kind of the same vibe as that song that I had previously released before. So that's how that idea was started. So I was like, okay, I want to make that kind of vibe. But then I just heard in my head, it just kind of like the yeah, I'm sorry, that kind of that just melody, and that slowly turned into that idea. Like so it always like depends, but usually it's either I start off with like a piano, which turns into some kind of beat to which I just like hum gibberish over, like to kind of get a melody. So I'll be like, yeah, I'm sorry. Then I'll just kind of put in words afterwards, kind of. So I think that's recently been the process, is like starting with the gibberish and then kind of turning it into something meaningful.
Incredible. And what inspires you daily?
Wow. Yeah. I think people, and I think just moments. I think music is about capturing like a moment. So I think there's always different moments that like inspire me. So whether it's something that I watched in a movie or that I've heard in a different song, like just the moment of like an energy, I think that's inspiring. But I think that also changes every day. So that's a really good question. I think but mainly you know people and moments can be inspiring. But musically, it's whenever I hear something like totally different in a song or something, I'm like, whoa, that's like totally changing. Like that's super inspirational for me, I think.
That's impressive. What what's the best advice you've received?
That I've received.
Yeah, actually, let's go one better. What's the best you've received, and what's the best advice you would give someone coming into the industry, or just generally speaking?
Yeah, I'd say the best advice I've ever received um, is probably less is more, um, and because that's really like like production wise, that's really narrowed it down for me. Like I've really started to make really minimal songs. Like it should be very simple. Like it's really gotten down to less is more. And um I think I would definitely give that advice for sure to someone. But I also think that if I were to give advice, I would say just don't stop. um don't stop till you drop, I guess. No, I think that's probably the best advice, because that's all I do. I mean, you can't ever stop. I think that's, if someone really wants to pursue a dream or anything like that, just don't stop, I think.
Great advice, and that is tremendous. What are your future plans? So where do you want to take your career?
Sure. Yeah, I think I mean, it's a good question, because like there's obviously like a bunch of different paths that it could really go. But um I think I would really like to have my own, which sounds random, but maybe my own record label, and something that's like kind of my own brand. But I think for Chyld, I think someday I'd like to try like a full length album, um with some more kind of artistry to it. I think that's definitely a big goal, but we'll see.
Great plans, and yeah, definitely an album I think would be incredible with all your music. So
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Well,
like, it could be cool. It's like, there's, the albums that tell the story, but there's also like I could see it being something like that, or something just more fun. I don't know, like when that when that time comes, I don't know what that Chyld would sound like. But yeah, I imagine it'd probably be kind of the same vibe, but maybe a little more serious, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I get that. What has been some of your fondest memories so far too in your career?
I think um I think honestly, there's a couple that stick out. Like there's one time that I opened for Grace and Chance, and we went just in the green room just to like, just because I like to meditate sometimes. So I actually had my buddy there that does that for me. Like, he guides me through like a little meditation, like maybe like 5-10 minutes, like right before I go on. And Grayson was just like, can I join you guys? And I was like, oh my gosh, of course. So that was cool, just because we all kind of sat on the ground. It was me, one of my other friends, my meditation friend, and then Grayson was right next to me on the left. And he also gave me something that his grandfather made for him or something like that, a little wooden piece, like to hold on to, like while we were meditating. But I think that was just like a moment of like, I don't know, that was a really sweet moment. Just a really calming right before like a big show. And yeah, I mean, probably most recently, I think just my family kind of celebrating my EP release, just like spending that time and them acknowledging that was very cool. And so yeah, I think kind of random ones, but I think those probably stick out like the
Yeah,
most.
no, that's fantastic, and yeah, you should be very proud of your EP release. Yeah, definitely 100%. That's incredible, man. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
what what do you like to do? What are your hobbies and passions aside from the music? Obviously, what do you like to do if you got downtime or you want to chill? What are those kind of things?
I know, right? Because I do just music. If I have like downtime, I'll just like make stupid beats or just like ideas. But if I really, um, take the day off or something, I'd probably, I don't know. I like to walk. Like, I don't like to do like nothing crazy exciting, but I like walking with my girlfriend. As like if we have free time, I think that's that's just a fun thing. I don't know. And I enjoy movies a lot. I actually, before I really started to get into music, I wanted to be like a movie director. So there's that side of me that still likes or loves movies. Uh, and most recently, I actually watched the Johnny Depp Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, um, which I'd never. That's the first time I saw that one, and that was super inspiring. Like that one was so good. I had only seen the older one, but I don't know. I think movies. I don't know. I'm not too crazy. I don't really go out or anything, and I do like watching baseball, I guess, because it's that season whenever the games are on. But yeah, it's usually just music. I'm either just practicing um, or listening to music. Yeah, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Um, have you done much traveling? Are there any tours coming up?
I think we're maybe talking about a couple shows. That's still kind of in the works. But I'm sure probably real soon because summer's coming right around the corner. But I think we'll see. Maybe summer, maybe fall. I think. Yeah.
Cool. And if you were 18 again and you could change anything, what would you change?
Ooh. Um, I think. I mean, if it's just for music, I think being very careful with like what I release because there's always these like few songs that I look at and I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't release those. But other people would disagree. But I think just being more mindful of like really being in love with something before I release it. Which is definitely what I did with this EP, but I think that's probably a big thing. Oh, and also backing up my computer because I recently went through a horrible crash and lost a lot of stuff and I back up your stuff, back up, back up, back up.
Oh no, that would be killer.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely back it up. Like if you're doing anything like creatively, like music, film, whatever, just, I have like 3 hard drives now. I have like backups on backups.
What what growing up, what artists inspired you too? Like what musicians do you like? What type of music do you like personally?
Definitely growing up, there was a lot of Queen playing in my house. So I think Queen has always been a huge inspiration, and Freddie Mercury as like an artist, performer, and um, and songwriter. And after I started getting into like electronic music more, I'd say Flume has always been an inspiration from the production side, just because he's just incredible with the sound design. And as far as like songwriting, I actually really got into this band called The Great Big World, and they released that song called Say Something back in like 2013. But that was actually the song that got me to start singing in public. So I think they have always been an inspiration too, just from like the songwriting point of view. So I definitely have a connection with that song. That was a big moment. But yeah.
Sensational. Chyld, thanks for coming on the podcast. I do appreciate
Of
it.
course.
You're killing it. Love the EP, and yeah, man, I can't wait to watch your trajectory in your career and everything you do. So thanks for coming on. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks again for having me. And yeah, thanks for checking it out and everything. Appreciate it.
Nice, mate. You're welcome.